Welcome you all to this session. I am Professor S. Revati, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Erode Secondary Engineering College, Erode. In this session, I am going to explain the basic concepts of cryptography. Let us see the definitions for cryptography. So, the cryptography is a science of using mathematics to encrypt and decrypt the data. This is the definition which is given by Phil Zimmermann. So what he is trying to say is cryptography is a science of using mathematical formulas to encrypt the data as well as decrypt the data. And the second definition is the cryptography is a science of keeping the messages secret. And this definition was given by Bruce Shane. Generally, the cryptography is a science of concealing the message while before transferring the data into the network. Next, we see the basic terminologies that are used in cryptography. So, first one is plain text. Then next one is encryption algorithm, ciphertext, decryption algorithm, encryption key, and last one is decryption key. So plain text. So plain text is the message, that is plain text is the original message what we are going to transfer, and this plain text will be in readable form. And encryption algorithm. So encryption algorithm in the sense this is an algorithm which is used to convert this plain text into ciphertext, and ciphertext is a text which will be in unreadable form, and this is the text which we are going to transfer in the network. And even if the unauthorized person access to this message, and this message will not be able to read by the author. And next one is decryption algorithm. This is the algorithm which is used to convert ciphertext into plain text. And this algorithm, that is both the algorithms, encryption algorithm and decryption algorithm, will use a set of keys, and the key which is used in encryption process is called as encryption key, and the key which is used in decryption algorithm is called as decryption key. And there are two types of keys, there is private key and secret key, and these topics will be discussed in later session. So this is the basic process which is going to taken in the cryptography. That is this is the plain text, that is this is a secret message which we want to send to the receiver, and this plain text is encrypted by using some encryption algorithm. So during this encryption process, we will use that encryption key, and this encrypted data, that is coded hex text, that is ciphertext, this will be transmitted through the network. And after receiving the data, the receiver must decrypt the data, that is decrypting, he have to decrypt the ciphertext, that is the conversion of ciphertext into plain text. So that we will use some algorithm, that is decryption algorithm. Here also we will use some keys, that is decryption keys. Okay, finally the receiver will get the original plain text, which will be in again the readable form. So next we will see the CIA triad in cryptography. Actually, CIA is the most important model which is used in organization, which describes the policies and set of rules and regulations which must be followed in the organization. Actually, these rules are followed to protect the data which are generated in the organization. So let us see one by one. So here we are having three factors. So first one is confidentiality, and second one is integrity, And third one is availability. So let me see one by one. So confidentiality. Confidentiality in the sense, the secret messages will be viewed only by the authorized person, and it cannot be, it should not be viewed by the unauthorized person. And even the data, while we say transferring the data through the network, it should not be accessed by the unauthorized individuals. And even if they access to the data, it should be in unreadable form. Okay. And next point is that the attacker may try to capture the data using a variety of tools that are available on the internet, and they may try to access our information, but we have already encrypted the data. So even if they hacked that encrypted data, the unauthorized person cannot able to read the original message. So this is what the confidentiality. So this is an example. That is here Bob and Alice are sender and the receiver. Here Bob is trying to send the data, and this is the actual data, and this actual data is encrypted by Bob, and this is the encrypted data, that is ciphertext, and this ciphertext will be transmitted in the network. And for this encryption, we are going to use that is Bob is going to use some secret key, and after encryption, this ciphertext will be transmitted in the network, and after passing over through the network, Alice will receive the decrypted message, and by using decrypted algorithm and decryption key, Alice will recover the original message what Bob has sent. So this is what the confidentiality, and this confidentiality is achieved by various standards. So first one is AES, that is Advanced Encryption Standard, and next one is DES, that is Data Encryption Standard, and several other methods are also available, that is VPN tunnel, that is Virtual Private Network, etc. And next one is integrity. Integrity in the sense, we have to make sure whether the data received is the actual one or not. That is, make sure that the data has not been modified. First, and also the correction of data is a failure to maintain the integrity, that is data integrity. So this can be achieved by different types of algorithms, that is SHA algorithms, MD5, like that. And here what we are going to do is we have to ensure whether the received data is the original data which is sent by the sender. So to make sure that we are going to use some algorithm, that is hash algorithms, SHA algorithms, MD5 algorithms. These algorithms will make sure the data, this is the data what the sender is sent. And next one is availability. So availability in the sense, we have to ensure whether the network is readily available to the user or not. We have to verify frequently. So this network in the sense, it also applies to the system as well as data. And to make sure whether this system is available to the user or not, we have to follow some rules and regulations. That is, the network administrator should maintain the hardware and software, and also the administrator make regular upgrades and updations in the system, and they have to follow some plans for the failover, and the administrator must prevent the bottlenecks that are generated in the congested network. So the administrator should be aware of each and everything to avoid this problem. So this is an example, that is denial of service and distributed denial of service. So these are the attacks that are made by the unauthorized persons to exhaust the network. So to avoid these circumstances, some organizations are following some types of rules and regulations. So let us see one by one. So first one is civil law. So civil law, in the sense, this is the law which is generated to govern a nation or a state. And next one is criminal. So criminal law which addresses the activities and conduct harmful to the public. And next one is private. This includes the family, commercial, labor, and regulates the relationships between individuals as well as the organization. And last one is public. And this law regulates the structure and administration of government agencies and their relationships with citizens, employees, and the other governments, as well as the employees within the organizations. The next one is here some rules are generated to follow the ethics, that is computer ethics. So first one is, thou shalt not use a computer to harm other people. So we are not supposed to use a computer to harm other people. And second one is, we should not interfere with other people's computer work. This is the important rule which is framed by this information security organization. The next one is, we should not snoop around in other people's computer file. That is, if we had a chance to use some others' computers, in the sense, we are not supposed to see others, we are not supposed to open others' folders and files. That is the third one. And next one is, we are not supposed to use a computer to steal. We are not supposed to use others' files. Okay. And fifth point is, we should not use a computer to bear a false witness. We should not use a computer to produce some false witness. And sixth one is, we are not supposed to use the proprietary software which you have not paid. That is, we are not supposed to use the free software. We should use the paid software. And the seventh one is, we should not use other people's computer resources without their permission. We should not use the other's computer without their authorization. And eighth one is, we should not appropriate other people's intellectual output. We are not supposed to use other people's intellectual output. Okay. And ninth one is, we should think about the social consequences of the program which we are going to write a program or some software development. Before designing the system or development of a code, we have to think about the ethics of the society. Okay. And the last one is, we should always use a computer in a way that ensure consideration and respect for your fellow humans. That is, we should respect our fellow humans, that is colleagues. And next one is ethics and education. So these are the basic rules that should be followed inside the organization. So each and every employees must be trained and kept aware about the secrecy that are maintained inside the organization. And many employees may not have formal technical training to understand that whether they are doing legal or illegal activity. So they must classify the activity by getting some knowledge through some education. And proper ethical and legal training is a vital to create an informed, well prepared and low risky system user. So it is very, very important to educate the employees regarding this ethical and unethical problems. So deterrence to unethical and illegal behavior. So it is the whole responsibility of an employees to have a secret, that is to maintain the secrecy about the organization information, and they have to identify whether the information is a legal, whether the action that person is doing is legal or illegal, and each and every policies that are used inside the organization must be known to the authors, that is the employees. And next one is deterrence. Deterrence in the sense the punishments which we are going to given by the organization. So laws and policies and their associated penalties only deter. So if these three conditions are present in the organization. So first one is fear of penalty. So next one is probability of being caught, and last one is probability of penalty being administrated. So it must be followed by the organization. And next one is codes of ethics, certifications and professional organization. So many organizations are following that their employees must complete some certain certification levels. So and also they have to follow some rules and regulations. So individuals, those who are having some certification levels, can able to understand what are all the important things we have to share outside the organization, and what are all the things we should not share with their friends, etc. and all. And it is the whole responsibility of the security professional to act ethically and according to the policies and procedures of their employer, their professional organization and the laws of society. And this is the need for security at multiple levels. So in an organization there will be some set of data, and we have to classify these set of data. That is these data can be classified into different levels. That is top secret, secret, confidential and unclassified. Unclassified in the sense negligible data. That is the data which is these are the data which are basic, which contains basic information, and having informations of different security levels on the same computer system poses a real threat, and it is not a straightforward matter to isolate the different information security levels. Even what to say? Even though different users log in using different accounts with different permissions and different access control. So some organizations go as far as to purchase dedicated system for each security level, and this often prohibitively expensive, however, and this is a mechanism which is required to enable the users at different security levels to access the system simultaneously without fear of information contamination. And individuals must be granted appropriate clearances before they can see the classified information. Those with confidential clearness are only the authorized persons to view the confidential data, and they are not trusted to look at secret or top secret information. The rules that apply to the data that flow from the lower level to higher level, and never the reverse, and they cannot able to see the reverse data. And under such a system, users, computers and networks use the labels to indicate the security levels, and these data can flow between levels, for example between secret and secret and top secret levels, like that. And so this is what I have explained. And here this file A, it will be you can able to only write in this file, and in file B you can able to read as well as write, and in file C and D you can able to read alone. You are not supposed to write anything on this files. So by likewise, you are going to provide some levels in the secrecy providing. So next one is security policies, and we have to follow some security policies in the organization. So some important points are, we have to know who should have access to the system. That is, who is having the complete rights to access the system. We should know that one. This is the first thing. And second one is how it should be configured. It should be known to the employer. And the last one is in what way you are going to communicate with third parties or systems. That is, how to communicate with the third parties or systems. So these are the important things which we want to know as an employer in an organization. And the policies are generally classified into two types. First one is user policy, and second one is IT policy. So user policy, in the sense, these are the policies generally define the limit of the users towards the computer resources in a workplace. That is, for example, what are all the softwares they can able to install in the computer, and what are all the hardware and hardware he can able to use in the laboratories, like that. That is, this is what the user policies. And next one is IT policies. Actually, this IT policies is designed in the organization, and this is mainly concentrate the procedures and functions of the IT fields. And here we are going to follow some 5 different policies. First one is general policy, and second one is server policy, and next one is firewall access and configuration policy, backup policies, and last one is VPN policies. First one is general policies, and this is the policy which defines the right of the staffs and access level to the systems. Generally, it is included even in the communication protocol as a preventive measure in case there are any disaster. And second one is server policies. Server policies, in the sense, we have to know who is responsible to who is having the access to the specific server, and with what rights, and which softwares should be installed, and the level of access to the internet, and how they should be, that is, that particular softwares should be updated. And next one is firewall access and configuration policies, and it defines who should have access to the firewall, and what type of access, and the types of access means monitoring, rules changing, like that, and which ports and services should be allowed to access the network, and if it should be inbound or outbound, we have to we have to decide everything. And next one is backup policies, and it defines who is responsible person for taking the backup, and what should be the backup, and where it should be backed up, and how long it should be kept, and what is the frequency of the backup. Everything we have to define here. And next one is VPN policies. VPN policies, in the sense, that is virtual private network policies, and these policies generally go with the firewall policies, and it defines those users who should have the VPN access, and with what rights. For site-to-site connections with partners, it defines the access level of the partner to your network, that is to our network, and the type of encryptions which are used in the network. This is also defined here. And next one is structure of a policies. So when you compile a security policy, we should have in mind yeah, the basic structure in order to make something practical. And some of the main points which you have to taken into the consideration are where this policy should be applied, and functions and responsibilities of each and every employees that are affected by these policies, and the procedures that are involved in these policies, and last one is what are all the consequences if this policy is not compatible with the company standards. So these are the things we have to take into the consideration. Next, these are the different types of policies under the organization. So first one is permissive, redundant, acceptance, user account, for information protection, remote access and firewall management, special access policy, network and email usage, and software security policy. So let me see one by one. So first one is permissive policy, and this is a medium instruction policy where as an administrator block just some well-known codes of malware regarding internet access, and some exploits are taken into the consideration. And coming to redundant policy, this is a high restriction policy where everything is blocked regarding the internet. Just a small list of websites are allowed to view, and now extra services are allowed in computer to be installed, and logs are maintained for each and every users. And next one is acceptance policy. So this policy regulates the behavior of the users towards a system or a network or even a web page. So it is explicitly said that what a user can do or cannot do in a system. They are allowed to share access codes, and they can share the resources, etc. And next one is user account policy, and here this policy defines what a user as a user should do in order to have or maintain another user in the specific system. For example, while accessing e-commerce website, we have to follow some we have to have some answers for the below questions. That is should the password be complex or not, and what is the minimum age of the users, and maximum number of logins which we trying to pass the login, and when the user should be deleted or activated or blocked, like that we have to decide. And next one is information protection policy, and this policy is to regulate the access to the information, and not to the process information, and it also includes how to store the information, and how the information is transferred from one network to another network. Everything comes under this information protection policy. And next one is remote access policy. So remote access policy, in the sense, this policy is mainly for large companies where the user and their branches are outside their headquarters. It tells what should the user access, and when they can work, and on which softwares they have to work. These things we have to this will be decided by this policy. And next one is firewall management policy, and this policy has explicitly to do with its management, and which ports should be blocked, and what updates should be taken, and how to make changes in the firewall, and how long it should keep the logs, and how long we have to keep the logs properly, like that. And next one is special access policy, and this policy is intended to keep people under control, and monitor the special privileges in their systems. And these here These employees can be a team leaders and managers, or they may be a senior managers, and based on their designation. And next one is network policy, and this network policy is to restrict the access of anyone towards the network, and make clear who all will access the network, and it will also ensure whether that the person should be authenticated or not. And this policy also includes other aspects. That is who will authorize the new devices that will be connected to the network, and who should have wireless connection, and the type of authentication, validity of connection session, everything we have to decide. And next one is email usage policy, and this is one of the most important policy among all the policies, and this is why means many users use the work email for personal purposes as well. As a result, information can leak outside the organization, and some of the key points of this policies are the employees should know the importance of this system that they have the privilege to use. They should not open any attachments that look suspicious, and private and confidential data should not be sent via any encrypted email. So this is the very very important policy which is followed by the organization. And the next one is software security policy, and this policy has to do with softwares installed in the user's computer and what they should have. And some of the key points of this policies are software companies should not be given to the parties, and only the whitelist of the softwares should be allowed, and no other softwares should be installed in the computer. And so these are the different types of policies that is followed inside and outside the organization. And next we will see the model for network security. Here a message is to be transferred from one party to another party across some sort of internet services. So the two parties who are the principals in this transaction must cooperate for the exchange of information that is going to take place. And here the logical information channel is established by defining the route through the internet from the source to destination, and by the cooperative use of some set of communication protocol, the data is transferred from sender to the receiver. And here in between the transformation in the network, some opponents will try to access the data which we are trying to send, and this is this opponent, in the sense he may be a hacker, and or maybe a third party. And next one is next one is OSI Security Architecture, and this architecture was defined by ITUT recommendation, that is X.800, and this architecture mainly focuses on three things, that is security attacks, security mechanisms, and security services. Let me see one by one. So first one is security attack. Security attack means any action that compromises the security of information owned by the organization. That is, we are not supposed to compromise with the secret policies that are followed in the company. So this is security attack. And second one is security mechanisms. Security mechanisms in the sense, before the occurrence of any attack, we have to detect and we have to prevent the system which we are going to develop. And last one is security services. And services in the sense, we have to use some variety of services to protect our data from the hackers. So these are the different different securities which we are going to see one by one. So first one is security attacks, and under security attacks we are having two types of attacks. That is, first one is passive attack and second one is active attack. So passive attack in the sense, here the unauthorized person will access, they can able to access the data, and they won't alter the original data. Just they will access the data which we have sent in the network, and they won't alter the original data. And this passive attack will not be we are not supposed to identify this passive attack easily, and this is very hectic in this network. And next one is active attack, and in this active attack the unauthorized person will alter the entire system, or the operations of the system may get affected. Under this passive attack we are having different types. So before going to see the types of passive attack, we will see some different points here. So it is the nature of eavesdropping on or monitoring of transmissions. So that is, the unauthorized person simply sit in the middle of the network, and they will take the information that you are transferring from sender to the receiver. And the main goal of this passive attack is to obtain the information that is being transferred in the network. And as I said already, this passive attack is very difficult to detect, because they won't alter any data in the original message. So this is very hard to find, and it is very feasible to prevent the success of these attacks, usually by means of encryption. That is, this can be prevented by using some encryption methods, and mainly there is emphasis in dealing with passive attack is on prevention rather than detection. It is far better to prevent the data rather than detection. And there are two types of passive attacks are there. First one is release of message content, and second one is traffic analysis. Let me see one by one. So first one is release of message content. So release of message content in the sense, here Bob wants to send some message to Alice, and in via the network. So while transferring the data in the network, this person, that is Dart, is an unauthorized person who is sitting in between Bob and Alice, and he will read all the messages which are sent by the Bob to the Alice. That is, Dart read the content of the message from Bob to Alice, and he will use the data. And next one is traffic analysis. Traffic analysis in the sense, here Dart can able to observe the pattern of the messages which are sent from Bob to Alice, and the opponent could determine the location and identity of communicating hosts, and could observe the frequency and length of the messages being exchanged. This information might be useful in guessing the nature of the communication that was taking place. So these are the two types of active attacks, and if these two types of attacks happen, means we cannot able to identify, because there will be no any changes in the original message. So it is very hard to find the passive attack. And next one is active attack, and in active attack some modifications will be happened in the original data, and by looking that changes in the messages, we can able to identify there have been some attacks have been done in our message, and this can be classified into different types. That is, masquerade, replay, modification of messages, and the last one is denial of service. let us see one by one. So first one is Masquerade. So in this method, there is one entity pretends to be a different entity. Usually it includes one of the other form of active attack. That is, here Bob is actually the actual process is Bob will send message to allies. But here what actually happening is Darth is sending the message but in the name of Bob. So message from the Darth that appears to be from Bob. Actually Darth is sending the message in the name of Bob. So this type of attack is said to be Masquerade. And next one is replay. So this if this method Bob is sending a message to allies, and in this method Bob is trying to send Bob is sending try to send a message to allies. In between Bob and allies, Darth is sitting and capture all the messages that are receiving from the Bob, and later he will reply to the message to the allies, and this is what the replay. And next one is modification of message. So here as usual, that is Bob is trying to send a message to allies, and in between the network Darth is sitting, and Darth is going to modify the messages which are received by the Bob, and as usual he will send the message to allies as it sends from the Bob. And this is what the modification of message, that is some portion of the legitimate message is altered, or that message are delayed or reordered to produce an unauthorized effect. And for example, a message meaning that hello John to read confidential file accounts. This is the actual message in the sense Mr. Darth is going to modify this statement into hello Fred to read confidential file accounts, like that. He may change the name of the person who is unauthorized. So this is what the modification of message. And the last method is denial of service, and here it prevents or inhibits the normal usage or management of communication facilities, and it may have some specific target. For example, an entity may suppress all the messages directed to a particular destination, and the description of it includes description of entire network, either by disabling the network or by overloading it with extra messages, additional messages, so as to degrade the performance of the system. So this is what denial of service. And next one is next we will see the security services that are provided by OSI Security Architecture. And so let us see one by one. So under 5 categories we are having 14 specific services. So first one is authentication, and second one is access control, and third one is data confidentiality, and next one is data integrity, and next one is non-repudiation. So let us see one by one. So first one is authentication. So authentication in the sense we have to ensure whether the communicated data is correct or not. That is the assurance that the communicating entity is the one that it claims to be. So here we are having 2 types of entity authentication. So first one is peer entity authentication, and second one is data entity origin authentication. So let us see one by one. So peer entity authentication in the sense it is an association with logical connections to provide confidence in the identity of the entities which are connected in the network. And coming to data origin authentication, in a connectionless transfer we have to provide assurance that the source of received data is as claimed. So this is what the authentication in the network. And coming to next one, there is access control. So access control in the sense the prevention of unauthorized use of resources. That is the service controls who can have access to the resource, under what conditions access can occur, and what those accessing the resources are allowed to do. Like that we have to finalize here. And next one is data confidentiality. So here the protection of data from unauthorized disclosure. So we have to protect the data from the unauthorized persons. So under this we are having 4 types. First one is connection confidentiality, and next one is connectionless confidentiality, and selective field confidentiality, and last one is traffic flow confidentiality. And coming to connection confidentiality, here the protection will be given to all the users, that is all the user data who are all on the connection. And coming to next one, here the protection will be given for all the user data in a single data block. So that is connectionless confidentiality. And next one is selective field. So here the confidentiality of selected fields will be within the user data on the connection, or it may be in a single data block. And next one is traffic flow confidentiality. So traffic flow confidentiality means the protection of information that might be derived from observation of traffic flows. So these are the 4 types of data confidentialities that which are followed in the organization. And next one is data integrity. So data integrity, this is as I said already, data integrity in the sense we have to ensure whether the received data is the original is received data is the actual data which is sent by the sender. So we have to ensure it. So for this we have used some different algorithms. We are having some set of algorithms. There is MD5 algorithm, Shaw algorithm, like that we are going to use. And under this data integrity we are having 5 different types. So first one is connection integrity with recovery. That is this provides for all the user data on the connections and detects any modifications or insertion or deletions or replay of any data within the entire data sequence. And next one is connection integrity without recovery. As above it is similar to the previous one also, and it provides only the detection without recovery. And next one is selective field connection, and it provides the integrity for only the selected fields which are within the user data of block which are transferred over the connection. And also it takes the form of determination of whether the selected fields have been modified or inserted or deleted or replayed, like that we have to analyze. And next one is connectionless integrity. So connectionless integrity in the sense it provides the integrity of single connectionless data block, and it may take form of detection of data modification, and additionally a limited form of replay detection may be provided. And coming to next type, that is selective field connectionless integrity. It provides the integrity of selected only for the selected fields within the single connectionless data block, and it takes the forms of determinations of whether the selected fields have been modified or not. Then next one is non-repudiation. Non-repudiation in the sense it provides protection against denial of services, and under this we are having 2 types. One is non-repudiation origin and non-repudiation destination. And non-repudiation origin in the sense we have to we must have some proof that the message was actually sent by the specified party. And non-repudiation destination in the sense we have to prove that the message was received by the specified party. So these are the two types of non-repudiations that comes under the security services. And next one is security mechanisms. So we are having totally we are having 14 different security mechanisms in the OSI security architecture. So let us see one by one. So first one is encipherment. Encipherment means the same which I said already, that is encryption methods. Here the use of some mathematical algorithms to transfer the data that is from plain text to cipher text. There is a conversion of readable form into unreadable form. So this comes under encipherment. And second one is digital signature. So digital signature, in the sense some data will be appended to a data unit that allows a recipient of data unit to provide the source and integrity of the data unit and protect against forgery. And next one is access control. So access control, in the sense a variety of mechanisms that enforces access rights to the resources that are available. And next one is data integrity. So data integrity, in the sense this is mechanisms that are used to assure the integrity of a data unit or stream of data units. And next one is authentication exchange. This is a mechanism which is intended to ensure the identity of an entity by means of information exchange. And next one is traffic padding. So traffic padding, in the sense inserting some bits into the gap of data stream to frustrate the traffic analysis attempts. And next one is routing control. So this enables the selection of particular physical secure routes for certain data, and it will allows routing changes, and especially when the breach of security is suspected. And next one is notarization. So here we are going to use some third party to assure certain properties of the data exchange. And next one is pervasive security mechanisms. So these are the mechanisms that are not specific to any particular OSI security services or protocol layer. And next one is trusted functionality, and this is the functionality which is perceived to be correct with respect to some criteria that is established by the security policies. And next one is security label. Security label means we have to mark some bound to a resource which may be a data unit, and that names or designates to the security attributes of that particular resources. And next one is event detection. So event detection means a detection of security relevant events. And next one is security audit trial. So here data collected and potentially used to facilitate security audit, which is an independent review and examination of the security records and activities. And last mechanism is the security recovery. So here it will deal with requests from the mechanisms such as event handling and management functions, and take some recovery actions. So these are the different security mechanisms that comes under OSI architecture, that is OSI Security Architecture. So far we have seen so many topics, there is so many basic concepts in cryptography. So thank you.